Welcome into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. I am Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier. As always, a lot happened in college basketball last night. We've got a special bullpen segment up for you after this because it was opening day. Bryce Harper gets paid a lot of money to get 0 hits on opening day.
Yeah, Barrett's probably like, told you.
Hey, well, the Phillies got to win. The Nationals did not. But although those guys will break down everything that happened in opening day, there's some NFL news, obviously, and then our little debate that we're going to get into at the bottom of this segment, and then some OSU athletics, and, of course, March Madness, some Sweet 16 games. A Big 12 team has advanced to the Elite Eight, but we'll start in the National Football League. Greg Schiano resigns as defensive coordinator. I think that is what his position was going to be. It was never fully announced by the team, but he's only there 2 months, and this guy has dealt with controversy I wouldn't say everywhere he's gone. It's really the Tennessee, but he was on staff at Penn State when, unfortunately, all of those terrible things happened, and that's what kept him from getting the Tennessee job, whether it's fair or not. What he actually knows, nobody else knows. So he was at Rutgers, obviously, had a lot of success there by Rutgers standards, goes to Tampa Bay, does not have a lot of success, then joins the staff at Ohio State, and obviously we talked about the little debacle at Tennessee, but he leaves Ohio State and goes to New England. He's friends with Bill Belichick, but he's only there 2 months. Says he needs to spend more time with his family and on his faith. That's probably a reasonable reason to leave. I believe that. But do you think that there's something else that maybe got there for 2 months and is like, I don't really like this?
That could be part of it, but I don't know. I'm with you. I believe this is a legitimate reason for him to want to step away and, take some time and reevaluate it. It was strange, only two months. So that's why I don't think something got there. I think he would have known, because like you said, he already had a relationship with Bill Belichick. So I don't think he could have gotten there and seen something that drastically changed his mind in 2 months. I think he really is serious about wanting to spend more time with his family and focus on his faith, like he said. So it's unfortunate, Now probably Bill Belichick will be
the defensive coordinator.
The defensive coordinator. He's probably going to be maybe not the play caller, but he would have been heavily involved anyway. So he'll probably end up being the defensive coordinator now. So more work for him, but hopefully Schiano gets whatever he needs to get figured out.
Well, it is an interesting story nonetheless, and that, you make a great point. Bill Belichick almost has to now because of everything that those coaches go through. How is he going to, I don't know, find somebody 2 months after everyone else has been hired?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. So, but the Patriots will always find a way.
Yeah.
Staying in New England, they're always in the news. Rob Gronkowski retires. Greg Schiano resigns. Robert Kraft, it's now been a full month of this saga going on, But we talked about it on Wednesday. He pleads not guilty. Now his lawyers are seeking to exclude the video as evidence. In the article it says, if they don't exclude this and it's used, the video is most likely going to be released due to Florida's very broad open records laws. I don't know anyone that wants to see that video, but I'm sure it would circulate. I think it's going to get out no matter what. But they offered them a plea deal they would not use it as evidence. It wouldn't go to trial. They would seal it. It would never be seen. But they had to admit their guilt, and they refused. I'm not going to ask you legal questions because just like you, we are not lawyers. We can't get into the technicality, the legality of it all. But what is Robert Kraft doing in the sense of you and I having a conversation? Nothing he's doing makes sense. Now, he has very high-dollar lawyers, but you would think you'd say, yeah, what I did was wrong. I already said I'm sorry. Seal the video up. Let's move on.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think he's going to spend so much money on his legal team. I think they're going to find a way for him to still never go to trial without him ever having to admit guilt. I think that's his plan here, because it seemed pretty simple, just say I would have been found guilty, no one ever sees the video, you can go on your day after that and you're good to go. But him and his group of lawyers seem to think they have a plan to not admit guilt and not go to trial and have that video out there, because like you said, if that gets released,
it's going to be
someone's gonna put it somewhere. It's going to be bad. He doesn't want that. I don't think anyone in the rest of the Patriots organization wants that. So he's playing. I think he's on thin ice with this situation.
Well, it is certainly, you don't, the video probably just needs to be thrown away. But the fact that he said he was sorry, he is not denying the fact that the act took place,
Right.
but he is denying the fact that it was a crime.
Which is weird.
This isn't Vegas, or this isn't a weird county in Nevada.
This is illegal.
Prostitution isn't legal there.
Yeah. That's
a crime. So I don't know where he's going with this. I don't know where the other Rich 24 other guys are doing, what they're doing, but it was wrong nonetheless. But this has a ton of twists and turns that it keeps going in different directions. Will we see is the video going to be released? Will people be able to see it? Well,
I hope not.
You know, is he guilty? Is he not? Will he go to trial? Will he not? I guess every other legal process plays out this way, but this one's just the story of it is weird.
Yeah.
And of that's the rich, wealthy NFL owner that it took place with.
Yeah.
So that's what's weird. So obviously we'll follow along with that. But it seems like every time we do a show, something else is out about this trial. So we will see what happens with Robert Kraft in Florida. The other football league, the Alliance of American Football, they got a $250 million investment from Tom Dundon, who obviously owns the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's an NHL franchise. That was a shot at the NHL.
Yeah.
But anyways, he invests $250 million in this league less than a month ago. Now he's saying they're in danger of folding. That's not good news when you sink $250 million. And Darren Rovell's tweeting that he didn't assume the league's debts when he took over. So the league still has not paid some of its vendors, which is bad news. They needed this guy to come save the league because they weren't going to be able to make payroll in week 1. Now the NFLPA will refuse to let them use players who are designated to futures contracts due to the risk of injury. And he said if they don't agree, if they don't cooperate, we can't have a league. We can't be a developmental league. Do you think this league will last more than 1 year?
I don't. I think there's a shot it bleeds into next season, but I don't think it makes it 2 whole seasons. Outside of week 1, when was the last time we heard a good thing about the AAF? Like you said, they had to basically be saved.
Yeah, opening weekend, it was, these games aren't terrible.
Yeah.
And then after that, the ratings plummeted. They can't make payroll. They have to have an investor. They haven't paid their vendors. Now, anytime somebody sinks, if you gave me $250 to keep doing this show, and then a month later he said, yeah, you can keep the $250. I don't think this is going to work out. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
This guy, $250 million in a month. He's saying it. Maybe it's some plan to help the NFLPA understand, but it's a weird one if that's what his plan is. But I don't think it lasts past this year.
I don't either. And, at first I was like, maybe it would be a good idea to have some kind of football when there's no NFL, In that gap of summer when there's basically just baseball, that'd be a good place to put it. But I don't know if it's gonna last, and I don't know if people would actually watch at this point because now it's obviously competing with March Madness opening day. It's going to be competing against the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. So you wonder if they had started it a little bit later, if it would have worked out a little bit better. But if it sounds like they're going to fold 2 months in or a month in or whatever, they didn't have a great plan going in. So,
well, certainly, that I would rather do nothing more than watch football.
Right.
Like I would be fine with never seeing anyone ever again, just watching football. They could bring me food and water. I'll be fine as long as I'm watching football. I've watched like 2 Alliance of American Football games because you watch them, it's like, yeah, these don't mean anything. I can't. Yeah. You have to have a rooting interest somewhere along the way. You have to hate another team. There's no natural rivalries. They'll say, oh, this guy he was a star at Alabama. I forgot about him. I watched like 20 Alabama-Auburn games between the 2 schools. I've watched them play so many times against other SEC teams, against national championship games. I don't remember this guy, and I don't care to remember him.
Yeah.
He's not in the National Football League.
So, does the AAF last longer or shorter than the XFL is going to last?
I think the XFL will do the same thing. They will fold within their first regular season. They may not finish a season. I mean, the AAF's having to move. They've moved the location of their championship game. It's just, and I don't want it to fold because it does give. I mean, Major League Baseball, the NBA, they all have developmental leagues.
Right.
the NFL needs one as well. It needs to give guys a chance to play and showcase it. Like 10% of them, less than that, will be able to go to the NFL no matter what.
Right.
But they deserve a chance, and I think this league, and I think the league should support it. The NFL, that was something we talked about. The NFL didn't want it to work. It wasn't going to work. The NFL could kill it if they wanted to, and they're effectively killing it.
Yeah, and they probably are. I don't know. You know, Roger Goodell probably took a hard look at it, and they probably couldn't make enough money on it or something like that, so they don't have any interest in it. And I'm sure it'll be the same thing with the XFL. The NFL will not allow anyone, like the same kind of deal. No player with a futures contract could play in it for risk of injury. That's the hardest part, is finding guys that have NFL talent. If the NFL doesn't want them to play in it, then then what are you? Then it's worse college football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean NFL Europe folded, right? We've seen the XFL, the USFL. None of them have worked out besides the National Football League. The National Football League will always survive. They always do. So now we're going to jump to basketball really quickly.
All right.
There's Donovan Mitchell. Some NBA players are saying Trae Young is Rookie of the Year. I'm going to read you the stats, okay, of the season.
Yeah.
Now, in all fairness, Trae Young has been better since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Not by a huge margin, but he has been better. But this is over the course of the season. Luka Doncic has played in 70 games, 21.1 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and he's shooting over 42% from the floor. Trae Young, 75 games, 18.9 points per game, 7.9 assists. That's the only thing he leads Doncic in. 3.6 rebounds. He's shooting less than 42% from the floor.
And Reed, he was shooting like 30-something% before the All-Star break. He was so bad. I think probably through January, people were talking about, you know, this trade is always going to be at the forefront of this just because of the kind of player Luka Doncic is going to be.
Right.
But people were saying Trae Young might be a bust based on how he played through the first half of the season. And it's a complete season award. It's not Rookie of the post All-Star break. It's Rookie of the Year. Luka Doncic has had the most consistent performance of any rookie in this class. I don't even know if Trae Young will probably finish second, but I don't know if he's had the second best season.
Colin Sexton's up there, so he's had a good season as well.
He's been good since the All-Star break as well. And Marvin Bagley, he comes off the bench for Sacramento, but that was almost a playoff team, Reed, and he was really important for them. DeAndre Ayton has been good in Phoenix. It's a media machine, the way that the awards work. So I'm not surprised that it's Trae Young versus Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic is far and away the better player, having a better year. If he doesn't win the award, I don't even know.
Is there enough time, if Trae Young is light years better than him in the remainder of the last 8 games, I mean a lot better than him, is that enough time in your mind? Would that change your mind?
No, because Luka is not going to play as bad as Trae did at the beginning of the year. Luka is going to be as consistent as he can be, and if Trae Young puts up like all-star numbers through the second half of the season, he was still one of the worst rookies to start the year.
Right, and that, I mean, you say second half, it's like the last third of the game.
It's the last third.
The third of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, neither one of these teams are making the playoffs.
Right.
The Mavericks are 29-46, and Atlanta is 27-48. So neither team have had a real impact on making a run to the playoffs. But I will leave you with this stat. 30-point games with at least 10 assists this year. Trae Young has 6. Luka Doncic has 1. But I'm with you. That beginning of the season, it just doesn't change over the last few weeks. So, but Trae Young, to his credit,
and Luka's triple doubles.
That's true.
He's got more than LeBron did before he was 21. So.
And Trae Young has improved a lot over the year.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. He hasn't done enough. Ultimately, we don't get to decide. Somebody else does. Who will be Rookie of the Year? Not who you think, but you think Luka will end up winning?
I think the media knows that it's not a last third of the season. It's not recency bias, you know. I think they know Luka's had a better overall season.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, make a call to the bullpen. Jason and Barrett are going to talk all about opening day. How the Nationals are 0-1, Yankees are 1-0. So on pace, guy, 162-0, still a real chance for the Yankees. We'll be right back after this.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to the bullpen. You see an absolute legend throwing out the first pitch. One of the greats for the Yankees. How are you today, Barrett?
I'm great.
We had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, one of the best days of the year.
We stuck around like a bunch of degenerates in the other room and watching baseball all day, but you know what?
Yeah.
That's what God intended.
Yeah, and it wasn't just baseball. I mean, March Madness.
A little bit of March. I mean,
Yeah.
I fell asleep watching the Virginia game, but...
Well, right.
So we're going to jump right in here. We got a lot to talk
Yeah.
about. We're going to talk about a little bit about every game. That's
Okay,
15 games. So let's start it at the
yeah.
1 o'clock games. So we're going to talk about the Yankees and the Orioles. Yankees beat the Orioles 7-2. Now, it wasn't really, no one really thought the Orioles were going to win.
It was fine.
It was more than,
If someone's like, yeah, Yankees will beat Orioles 7-2, I'd be like,
oh yeah, no,
nice.
yeah, I could see
reasonable.
that.
7-2.
Tanaka gets the win. Cashner gets the L.
He pitched well.
Luke Voigt, my new man crush.
Okay.
He stole the show with that 3-run home run in the first inning. I mean, other than that, the Yankees were never. There were never doubt. There was never a doubt that they were.
Yeah,
they were
I mean,
gonna
from
lose
the first
yesterday.
inning, put up 3 runs in the first.
3 runs in the first. They spread them out evenly across the rest of the game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just all around just solid.
Solid game.
They're going to be good. They're definitely one of the favorites to win the World Series.
Yeah.
I think. Obviously, you're excited about that.
I'm very excited about that. Well, I've got to mention Greg Bird first. I know a lot of people in New York like to give Greg Bird a lot of mess because he had probably one of the worst seasons last year.
Yeah.
I was at the game on Jackie Robinson Day.
Okay.
This is my favorite story now. Jackie Robinson Day. Greg Bird was doing the ultimate salute to that legend. He was wearing 42, obviously, but he also had a batting average of .042. Now, that's just dedication. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it went down to .35 after that game. I think he struck out the whole game, but you know what? That's dedication.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah.
that's
dedicated
terrible.
man right there. That is awful.
Now we're going to go to the Nats. I'm sorry about this, but the Mets beat the Nationals 2-0. For the first time since 2012, Barrett, the Nationals played an opening day game without Bryce Harper on their roster.
Yeah.
And it looks like it didn't pan out.
I mean, all I'm saying is, if you were there, they still wouldn't have scored.
Yeah.
So
Well, obviously, as you can see on the screen, Cano had both of the RBIs, including this.
Davey Martinez, Dave, whatever you want to call him.
Davey boy.
He needs to be. He needs to go.
It's the first game.
I mean, not just because of this game, because of he's only been the Nationals manager for 163 games now. But
you're not happy with this?
I just don't think he's.
Jacob deGrom is an
good for the
absolute
job.
monster.
Jacob deGrom is incredible. So I mean, the thing is, they out hit the Mets.
They did out hit him.
And obviously,
Scherzer, another monster.
Yeah, huge base running error by Robles. And then right here, Scherzer goes 8 2/3 innings, runner on first.
Yeah.
Or yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
And
12 strikeouts.
12 strikeouts.
No, there's
you
another.
bring in Matt Grace,
Cano,
and he gives
man.
up a run,
Well,
and then they go down 2-0.
That earned run was awarded to Scherzer, so that's gonna up his ERA even more.
Okay, yeah, well, it's not his fault.
It is not his fault. That's right. But
I don't understand why they took him out.
he was pitching. He was over 100.
I know, but they let him get one more out because he's probably not giving up a run there.
Yeah,
You
he
go
probably
into-
wasn't too happy about
You go
it
into
either.
the 8th, down 1 run. Maybe you don't get it. You go into the 9th down 1 run. Instead, you're down 2. You have to put together a rally. And obviously, they couldn't do it. But
there's always another game. 161 left.
They'll be fine. They'll be
5
fine.
hits for both teams. Dozier, Gomes couldn't do anything against DeGrom. And your 3 through 5 hitters, Rendon, Soto, and Zimmerman, went 0 for 11.
Yeah.
That's got to change.
The only bright spot was, I mean, I'm not worried about Soto or Rendon. Zimmerman, I mean, he's got
to start doing something.
He's getting down towards the end of his career, but Rendon, not worried about. Soto, definitely not worried about. Turner looked great. I mean, he had 3 stolen bases.
Trey Turner,
in the first game. He's on pace for a lot of stolen bases.
Hundreds.
Hundreds of stolen bases. So he looks great. If they can just string together some of those just the problem with the Nationals, it's not that they don't get enough hits. They don't get hits when they need it. They don't string together hits. They'll get hit here, hit there, but they never have timely hitting. And I don't know what the issue is there, but like if you look at their stats with runner in scoring position, it's just bad.
Bad.
It's so I don't know.
Some things need to change.
So yeah, I don't know what it
boy,
is.
Right?
Yeah, it's definitely him. He needs to get out of there.
All right, moving now. The Brewers, Brew Crew, they beat the Cardinals 5-4, get the W.
Unreal finish.
That robbed home run by Lorenzo Cain was
he's
stunning.
He's an amazing fielder.
Miles Mikolas gets roughed up in his first start, and Yolis Chassin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I looked up, gets the W for the Brew Crew. Yelich, your boy and my boy, MVP everyone's boy, 3-run bomb.
Yeah,
and even the pitcher. I love pitchers who rake, Barrett.
Yeah, me
pitcher
too.
Solo home
Me
run.
Too. Yeah, that's awesome.
It mattered too. They only won by 1 run.
Yeah, he's that's incredible. You gotta love it.
Brewers starting off 1-0, looking good. Now we're staying in the NL again. The Phillies. They host and beat the defending NL East champs Atlanta Braves. Nola gets the W. Harper a little silent in his first game.
Yeah,
0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a walk and a run.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But the rest of the team, Maikel Franco, obviously.
Yeah, the rest of the team.
They stepped
raked.
up. They strung together a big win here against the Braves.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, it's an impressive win, but at the same time,
the Braves showed they showed that they weren't going to go away silently with Matt Joyce's 2-run home run right there. And then here, Harper gets intentionally walked, and then Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah,
showing why he's the 4-hitter
on my fantasy team.
Oh, that's a good pickup.
Grand slam.
Trying to trade?
No. So, yeah, the Phillies look good. I think McCutchen started off
had a
right,
solo
right
home
off
run.
the bat.
Yeah, first inning.
Aaron Nola pitched pretty well.
Got the win.
Their bullpen struggled.
They're a little sus.
I think that could be something that hurts them because their bullpen really struggled. So that'll be something interesting as the season progresses. But they look good. If Harper gets hot, then they could be really dangerous.
Good. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
So the Braves had a quick trigger finger on ace Julio Teheran. He only gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. You think that was a little? They should have stuck around with him for a little longer.
I don't know. I didn't see what his pitch count was at. Did you?
It was about 80, 85. Maybe another inning.
I think.
2 more outs.
I mean, he did have 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I think they could have let him go another inning. And then the next guy they brought in, he didn't do too hot.
No.
So he gave up.
Well, it's a call, and you have to make those.
Yeah.
Tigers, we don't have to wait very long for our first extra inning game.
Undefeated.
It's very shocking, but they also played the Blue Jays 2-0.
They did. Hey, they got good
beat
pitching.
them 2-0.
Good pitching performance from Jordan Zimmerman.
And Marcus Stroman.
7. Yeah.
Marcus Stroman had 7.
Yeah. So
it was a relief pitching kind of game, and it looks like that the bullpen for the Tigers outshined the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Left fielder Chris Stewart, rookie, hit the 2-run homer to give Detroit their first win of the season.
Yeah. Miguel Cabrera 0 for 4.
It's an interesting debate on that. Moving on, Astros beat the Rays 5-1. Blake Snell has been very outspoken on Twitter recently about his lack of contract extension from the Rays, and that was not a good look for him yesterday. He got the loss. He gave up all 5 of the Astros' runs in 6 innings.
Yeah.
And, that's not something you want to see if you're the Rays organization. Not at all, actually. Like, you put him out there knowing that he was going to at least give your batters a chance.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to talk and if you're
going
going
to
to
be very
demand
vocal,
money,
yeah,
you can't do what he
you
did.
You got to show out.
That's pathetic. Honestly, that's. I mean, he's a great pitcher. I think he will get better, and maybe he will be worth the money, whatever he's going to get paid. I don't know what's going to happen with him.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the Rays.
It's the first game.
Yeah.
We're taking a lot of.
Yeah.
Throwing a lot of heat, but you got to show out for your first game.
Verlander looked great though.
Verlander also another extension.
Yeah. He deserves it. His career's been really strange.
Up and down,
but he's
definitely
probably
up.
pitching the best he ever has. Honestly,
I think
at this
so.
point.
Yeah.
And no one thought that would happen, but also Alex Bregman, guy.
I'm not too big on Bregman.
Neither am I. Everyone else is.
People on Twitter, on social media, are very huge on him. I'm not understanding why, but maybe I'll see why this season.
Yes, yeah. Well, 0 for 4.
If I'm in Tropicana Field, I would not want to see that game yesterday. Not great field. Moving on, the Cubbies beat the Rangers in Globe Life Park yesterday. It's kind of an embarrassment if I'm a Rangers fan. I'm kind of embarrassed to go out to the park and see kind of this loss. The Rangers used 7 pitchers yesterday, Barrett. None of them were good. All of 2 gave up runs. Mike Minor gets the loss. He didn't even get to the 5th inning.
Kyle Bird came in and walked someone.
Yeah. So
that was it.
That's all he was good for.
Yeah.
Brian and Baez both homer. Good start for the Cubbies.
I don't know if it's. I mean, I guess it's. You don't want to lose that battle.
No, you do not want to lose that bat at all.
The Rangers are just.
The Rangers are in a very weird spot right
not
now.
That great.
They don't have any. They have pieces, but at the same time, they don't have pieces.
Mm-hmm. They Javier Baez, he hit pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Hayward actually got a couple hits, and
he did.
That contract is awful, but hopefully he can kind of make up for some of it.
Make it up. So moving on now, we have the Athletics meet the Angels. Mike Fiers gets the win, improves to 1-1 on the season thanks to that Tokyo little stint.
Yeah.
But Trevor Cahill gets the loss. They only get 3 hits, Barrett, and Mike Trout only has 1 of them.
They're just not very good.
We've known this, and it's a shocker to, at least not to us. It's not a shocker.
I mean, they're not going to be that good this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's surprised about that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's A's. They're a playoff contender. I think. They're pretty decent. Not surprising.
Moving along, Reds beat the Pirates 5-3. Another reliever kind of game.
Yeah,
reliever Zach Duke gets the win. Nothing
there.
really. Reds are undervalued, but it's. Rockies beat the Marlins 6-3. Now the Marlins, I think, are slowly becoming the worst franchise in the history of the MLB.
Yeah.
And I think
have
no
not
one
been
can
good
agree
for
with me.
a long time. Or have they ever been good?
They have won a World Series with Miguel Cabrera, but that was a long time ago.
But that was a while ago.
Kyle Freeland gets the win, and I guess Ace Jose Arena gets the loss. I guess if you can say Ace, he's his top.
I'm
player,
big on Freeland.
The top pitcher. Freeland's good.
He's good. I picked him up last in fantasy draft, and I'm surprised he was still there.
Arena can't get to the 5th inning. He gives up 9 hits and 4 runs. Twins beat the Indians 2-0. Barrios on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
7 2/3, 2 hits allowed, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts.
Twins are pretty good.
The Twins looked all right, but they didn't really do much. Even Kluber went 7 innings, and he gave up those 2 runs in the loss. But I mean, other than that, they didn't do much. It was kind of a slow game, and they got it. They just stole the game, kind of, in my opinion. Padres beat the Giants 2-0. Lowry gets the win in 6 scoreless innings, and Bumgarner continues to decline, in my opinion.
Yeah.
7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, and the loss. Machado goes 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
It happens.
It happens, I guess, yeah. Dodgers beat Diamondbacks 12-5.
Dodgers is really good.
Dodgers
honestly,
are good. 8 home runs.
They
Opening day record. Bats are hot.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have, the bats are gonna have to make up for their lack of pitchers. They put Hyun-Jin Ryo on the mound, their 3rd guy in the lineup. Royals beat White Sox 5-3. Keller gets the win in 7 shutout frames, and Rodon gets the loss.
Yeah, nothing really.
Another game, nothing really happened. And then the Mariners.
You're excited about that one.
I'm very excited about that. 12-4 win
They're
over
3-0,
the defending
undefeated.
World Series champion.
They're
actually on track for 162-0.
yes. So
Gonzalez gets the W. Chris Sale gets absolutely pulverized. Doesn't make it to the
that
fourth.
was embarrassing.
Seven runs.
He'll bounce back. I think he'll still win Cy Young.
7. Yeah, I mean it's definitely possible. 7 runs and an ERA of 21.
Yeah. Oh well.
That was. But anyway, that was a great opening day.
Great opening day.
I'm excited for
more games today.
More games today.
More games
Yankees
tomorrow,
aren't playing
more games
today,
for the
but
rest of-
I'll
rest
watch
of the
them
year.
anyway. Thanks for watching the Bullpen. Me, Jason Cliccio, and Barrett Guess. Thanks for watching. Reed and Logan will be right back after this commercial.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One. You're seeing right there a
Sniper.
People are getting teed up in the Sweet 16. The Cinderella story, I guess. They were 12 seed. They was not going to make the NIT.
Yeah.
They win their conference tournament. Oregon was a fun story, but it's over.
It is.
They lose.
Thank goodness.
To number 1 seed Virginia, 53-49. It was a close one. Virginia was down for most of the game actually, but Virginia does get the win. Now Virginia and Purdue, we're going to have to break all this down, so what does it matter where we start, right?
Yeah.
We'll start from the game from last night in Louisville. Virginia does, as I said, get that 53-49 win over Oregon. And also Purdue and Tennessee go into overtime. Tennessee comes all the way back. Listen, they had a 25-point lead over Iowa in the round of 32. Iowa comes all the way back, but they dominate in overtime. The exact opposite happened for them against Purdue. They were able to obviously come back, but they just didn't have it in overtime. Purdue ends up getting the 99-94 win over Tennessee. Tennessee, the number 1 team for much of the year, goes out in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we see something like this where someone peaks in January or February?
Every single year in college basketball. Every single year.
Whoever they're saying the best team in the country is at around Christmas time or New Year's is, to be fair, Tennessee made it decently far in the tournament, but they're not usually the national champions. So Tennessee falls. I thought they did a really good job of fighting back in this game. I can't remember what their halftime deficit was. I think it was 40-28. So they were getting dominated in the first half, and then obviously they brought it back. They were up, and then this foul right here at the end of the game sends the guy to the line, misses the first one, sinks the other two to tie the game up. And Barrett and I have had a conversation about this. Tennessee had a timeout left. And in the NBA, you can advance the ball with the timeout. That should be in college basketball. And I know Barrett doesn't like that rule. But instead of Tennessee having to inbound it, throw it across half court, and then call a timeout with 0.8 seconds left, they could have called the timeout with plenty of time to run a play and get a decent shot off. I just think I prefer giving teams more opportunities to score in that way. But, you know, I didn't agree with the foul call at the end to send the point guard for Purdue, I can't remember his name right now, to the line. I thought he kicked
Carson Edwards.
Yeah, Carson Edwards. I thought he kicked his leg out, and I thought he initiated the contact. But, you know, it is what it is. Purdue's going on. I had them losing really early on. So I'm upset because this busted my bracket more than it already was, Reed.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of now to a point. Carson Edwards gets 29 points. Klein gets 27 as well.
Klein was awesome.
Kind of to a point where it's like, meh. He's 7 of 10 from three-point land. That is incredible.
And he hit one at the end of the game. That was a total, you know, March Madness kind of shot.
Yeah, Purdue shot 54% from the floor and 48%.
They were awful. Both teams were awful from the line.
Well, I mean, Purdue, 16 of 33 from the free throw line. That's 48.5%. They shot the same from the floor or from three-point land as they did the free throw line.
It's not good.
That never happens in college basketball. Tennessee, obviously, 14 to 28, 50%. They were 50% from three-point land as well and 50% from the floor. So they actually shot better.
They were 50 all across the board.
So Tennessee was a little bit better, or Purdue was a little bit better from the floor. But, you know, not a great performance from the free throw line. That could have been the difference, especially when you were tied at the end of regulation. But I guess you have to buy into Purdue now.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Tennessee did some questionable stuff in overtime. Like, why? I know Grant Williams had 4 fouls.
But you're playing in
why
overtime.
was he? Yeah, you're in overtime. Why is he not out there to start overtime? He was awesome in that game too. He's going to be a pretty good NBA player, I think. He was awesome on the glass. He was great defensively. He had a block towards the end of the game that kept Tennessee in the game. So I thought it was really weird to sit him at the start of overtime. And then I think him being out at the beginning of overtime let Purdue get pretty comfortable in their offense, and they dominated overtime.
Yeah, so the Boilermakers are, they're moving on to the Elite Eight. Tennessee and Rick Barnes are going home. Now let's move to the last team remaining from the Big 12, Texas Tech. They get a 63-44 win over number 2 seed Michigan.
Oh, man. I never would have thought a team would have got to 63 at the beginning of this game.
It was 24-16 at halftime.
Yeah.
At halftime.
Yeah, and, I mean, Texas Tech is a good defensive team. So is Michigan. So you expected a low-scoring first half. I did not expect 40 total points. I did not expect 16 from Michigan. And it was bad. They just weren't hitting shots.
Yeah,
some of them were, well defended, obviously, by Tech, but some of them they just missed.
Yeah, Texas Tech, one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in all college basketball. I mean, they get everything they need to last night. But they shoot 43.6%. They shoot 90% at the line. Michigan, 64% at the line and just 32% from the field. Everyone was throwing up bricks.
Yeah.
But everyone kind of said that, Texas Tech was the best team in the Big 12 as far as the run in the tournament.
Yeah,
they choke a little bit in Kansas City at the Big 12 tournament.
Right.
But the NCAA tournament, everyone kind of felt like they had the best defense, the overall team, to make a run.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Jarrett Culver gets 22 points last night. Moretti gets 15. And their defense just gets it done. Texas Tech I don't think they can win a national championship because, especially when they get matched up with the North Carolina, athletically they're just going to be overmatched. But I think they have a good shot to win an Elite Eight game.
Who are they going to play?
They will play Gonzaga.
Their run stops there.
You think Gonzaga beats them?
I do. I think Gonzaga is the best team in the country. I think
the country?
I do. I think they're better than Duke. I think they're better than North Carolina. I think they're a matchup. They match up with just about anyone, and it's hard to match up with Gonzaga.
Not St. Mary's. But speaking of Gonzaga, who Texas Tech will face, incredible performance from the Red Raiders. They move on to the Elite Eight. Gonzaga gets a 72-58 win over Florida State. I said on Wednesday Gonzaga would lose by double digits in the Sweet 16 to Florida State, just like they did last year. It got in within 4 with under 3 minutes to play, and then Gonzaga went on a ridiculous run.
Yeah.
Forrest, obviously 20 points for Florida State. Hachimura gets 17 from Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Gonzaga dominated most of the game.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I mean, it's just the length of Florida State was matched by Gonzaga.
Right. That's what I was saying. That Gonzaga matches up really well with everyone. They're, if you go by playing teams at full strength, they're the only team that's ever beaten this Duke team. So, I think they're going to be the eventual national champions. I find it really hard to find a team that matches up with them. I think maybe UNC matches up with them pretty well. Michigan State maybe. I don't know about that, but I think Gonzaga is the best team in the country, and they obviously didn't prove it last night, but I thought they showed out really well. Like you said, Rui Hachimura, 17, 4 rebounds. Clark for Gonzaga, 15 and 17 or 15 and 12, sorry. So they have a lot of guys that can give you a lot of production. They don't have to rely on 1 or 2 guys like Duke does or like UNC does. It's pretty impressive.
Well, we've got those 4 teams. We've got half of our Elite Eight made. Texas Tech, obviously Virginia, Gonzaga, and Purdue as well. All 4 of those. So we have the other side of the Sweet 16 playing tonight. Duke versus Virginia Tech, LSU versus Michigan State, Houston, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Auburn. We'll start with that, and then we will quickly kind of round out.
Okay.
We can change it, obviously. We've changed everything, our predictions throughout this, but we will, just progressively pick who we think is going to be a national champion. So we'll start with number 1, North Carolina versus number 5, Auburn. Auburn got into some trouble against New Mexico State, almost lost. They dominate Kansas because when they shoot, they're almost unbeatable.
Yep.
North Carolina's the same way. Who wins this game?
North Carolina. I think they're a better coach team. I think they'll get their shots easier. Like you said, Auburn's really good if they're hitting shots, but UNC's really good, pretty good defensively.
They live and die by the 3.
They do. So it's hard for me to pick a team if they're not the Warriors that live and die by the 3.
Right. I'm taking North Carolina as well. Do you think it's a competitive game, or do you think North Carolina dominates?
It could honestly go either way. If if Auburn's hitting their shots, it can be a competitive game. But if Auburn's off, it's over. It's going to be over from the start.
Yeah, I think Roy Williams exposes Bruce Pearl tonight, and I think that North Carolina wins easily. Number 3, Houston, Kelvin Sampson taking on Coach Calipari. Number 3 versus number 2, P.J. Washington. He practiced with the team.
Yeah.
He has. I don't know if he's probably going to play, but
he's on a minutes restriction from what I've read, like 15 minutes.
That's not enough.
Lot.
I'm taking Houston to win this game.
It's tough if he goes beyond his minutes restriction, because this could obviously just be a ploy to say he's only playing so many, but he's really good to go and plays the whole game. But if he plays that 15 minutes, I would also probably pick Houston to win.
So we've got North Carolina. We both agreed on North Carolina. We both agree on Houston. Now we have LSU versus Michigan State. LSU's dealt with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, losing a teammate earlier on in the season. Will Wade, their coach, being suspended. They've had 5-point win over Yale. Get a last-second win over Maryland. Michigan State's been dominant this entire tournament.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Tom Izzo, the March Wizard, continues. I think he ends LSU's streak tonight.
I agree with you. I thought LSU was going to lose a lot earlier than this just because of the fact that they've dealt with so much stuff throughout the year. They have no coach. The coach won't even talk to the school. So
not great.
Yeah, not a great look. I'm taking Michigan State as well.
So now we have Duke versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech won that first matchup. They only played once, ACC rivals.
Without Zion.
77-72, but you mentioned without Zion. So
it doesn't count.
Null and void didn't even happen.
They didn't lose.
Duke barely gets it. They need all sorts of magic to beat Taco Fall and UCF.
Yeah.
I don't think they need any magic to beat Virginia Tech. I love Buzz Williams, but it's over.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think UCF just presented such a unique matchup problem that Virginia Tech just doesn't for Duke. I think Zion's gonna have his way, do whatever he wants throughout this game. So I'm gonna take Duke. Strong pick. I know I picked a bunch of 1 seeds and 2 seeds to win.
So now we'll go through the rest of our matchup. Duke versus they beat Virginia Tech in
They
our
play
mind.
Michigan State.
They play Michigan State. that's a matchup a lot of the experts have had circled, and a lot of people
Yeah.
are saying Michigan State will be able to take down Duke.
I'm one of them. I think Michigan State would beat Duke.
That's a tough side of the bracket for Duke. I think Michigan State will beat Duke as well and improve to the Final Four. All right, now we have Gonzaga versus Texas Tech. I'm taking Gonzaga.
Yeah.
There's not really even, if Texas Tech defensively plays well, they can beat anybody. But there's a lot of teams left in the tournament that if they play their game, they can beat anybody.
Yeah.
But I think Gonzaga has kind of learned their lesson now with that St. Mary's loss, that this is go time. And they've been so close in recent history. They're where Texas Tech is where Gonzaga was 25 years ago.
Yes.
And Gonzaga has just been fighting this fight for so long. I think this is especially, I don't know if they win the national championship, but I think they make it to the Final Four. I think they beat Texas Tech in a very close game.
I do too. I think Gonzaga, I think they're good enough to beat Texas Tech's defense. I think they're smart enough. They know how to play the right way. I think, I don't want to say double digits, but I think they'll handle Texas Tech pretty easily.
So we go to the other side of the bracket. Hypothetically, these games could go the other way.
Rui Hachimura and Jarrett Culver will be a really good matchup.
That'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
So now we go to the other side of the bracket. Like I said, hypothetically, these are what we've picked. So we would have North Carolina versus Houston. I think North Carolina wins that game.
I do too, and it's boring to pick all the 1 seeds, but that's just how this tournament's been. Is the best teams are obviously the best teams, and then after that it's kind of meh. So I would pick North Carolina as well.
Now our last Elite Eight game, Purdue versus Virginia. Don't hurt David's feelings here. He's a big Purdue fan. He always has been.
He's been there. He's been on the campus.
Boilermaker for life. But Purdue versus Virginia.
You know what?
1 versus 3.
For David, Purdue.
I'm taking Purdue as well, just because Virginia with that 4-point win over Oregon. Oregon was a 12 seed.
Yeah.
If Purdue can get that offense rolling, you can leave Virginia stagnant very easily. So I think ultimately we agree we're going to have a 2, a 3, and 2 1s in the Final Four.
We're so bold, Reed.
All right, so now really quickly, Michigan State versus Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Purdue versus North Carolina.
North Carolina.
A rematch of the national championship game, Gonzaga, North Carolina.
Give me Gonzaga.
He's taking Gonzaga. I'm taking North Carolina to win a national championship. So we're going to take a quick break. We will come back and talk about everything going on in Oklahoma State athletics. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into One-on-One, our final segment of the week. As you see there, Hewitt gets that walk-off win over the Sooners. OU tried to review it, just didn't work for the Sooners. Cowboys get that walk-off win. Non-conference win, technically, but a last final victory over the Sooners at LAP for the final time. So a big win for the Cowboys on Tuesday night. Now they're traveling down to Fort Worth to take on TCU. Got a big sweep of the Horned Frogs last year in Stillwater.
Yeah.
They're tied atop of the Big 12, or excuse me, Oklahoma State is tied atop the Big 12 as far as Big 12 records go.
Right.
They are technically 3-0 along with Baylor and OU. TCU is 2-1 in the conference. Both teams are 16-7 overall. As I said, last year got a big sweep over the Horned Frogs.
Right.
Does that take place in Fort Worth this year, or is it a 2-1? How do you see this series playing out?
I could see this being a sweep. They've been on a roll. Like you said, they swept Kansas State, and they get that Bedlam win. You know, they blew a 5-0 lead, but they end up winning the game anyway. So, I mean, if they play like they did the first couple of innings of that Bedlam game and the K-State series, they could easily sweep TCU. But at the same time, you got to worry about, you know, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, so you always got to worry about dropping one. But I think they could sweep.
They get it. Obviously, TCU's ranked number 19 in the country right now by most rankings. OU was ranked 19 as well. Didn't stop the Cowboys from winning that game. But I think it's going to be difficult. Obviously, this team, 16-7, 3-0 in the Big 12 Conference. They just struggle with matching up a lot of times that pitching and hitting at the same time, getting them rolling.
Right.
And it has worked at times, but I'm talking about over the past few years.
Yeah.
It just can't get them together
Yeah.
at the same time. Not a great year for the Cowboys last year. A little bit better this year, I think. But I think probably TCU gets 2 out of 3 down in Fort Worth.
Okay.
But I don't think there's a sweep either way. I could see the Cowboys taking 2 or TCU taking 2. But that'll be my final prediction. I think the Cowboys win the Saturday matchup. But I think they probably fall tonight and lose the rubber match on Sunday. But not just Oklahoma State baseball, but Oklahoma State softball. They have a huge series this weekend, taking on number 9, number 10, based on which poll you look at, Texas. Listen, Texas is probably not as good as OU. They're 30-6 right now. The Cowgirls are 24-9. Probably not as good as OU.
Yeah.
Winning the Big 12, or at least getting number 1 seed in the regular season into that tournament, is going to be difficult for Oklahoma State because of how experienced and how great really the program down in Norman is. But if Oklahoma State can win this series, not a sweep, but win the series, this will tell you what you need to know about this team. They can fight with the big programs in college softball. They've won the majority of these series. They've kind of dominated Texas over the last few years. But Texas is a bit of a different story. Got some new players, got a new coach. But if they can get this done, it'll tell you all you need to know. Their problem is just going cold at times.
Right.
They can score 21 runs one day and 2 runs the next.
Yeah.
Or 1 run, rather. So if they're on their best game, I think they can sweep Texas.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done.
Right, yeah. You're right. It's just an inconsistency issue. But, you know, lately, past 2 games, 9 runs each. So you hope it's not one of those deals where, you know, you're so hot and then you just drop right off. Hopefully. I think they can keep it up. And their pitching and the outfielding and all, they're great defensively too, you know. It's not like they give up. Whenever they score 21 runs, it's not like they're giving up 20 runs or 19 runs or anything like that. They're holding girls to, you know, 2-3 runs a game. So I think as long as you can keep the bat somewhat consistent, they don't have to be getting 10 runs every game. If they can just keep it at about 5 or 6, I think their defense is good enough for them to win these games.
Yeah, they're going to have to be very disciplined at the plate, obviously, and contain. They get a win over Wichita State on Wednesday night, a team they weren't able to beat last year, but they've beat now twice this year.
Right.
I believe, I could be wrong, but I think they have one more matchup with the Shockers left this season, so a season sweep would be great there. But I think that Oklahoma State is a very good softball team. Coach Gajewski has done a phenomenal job over the past couple of seasons in rejuvenating this program. I think they're on their way up, and I think maybe not ready to take that huge step as far as College World Series, but I think they're ready to take a super regional step.
Yeah.
And I think a top 10 team, I think they can take 2 out of 3 here. I think a sweep would be very difficult, but I'm confident in Oklahoma State softball. I'm confident in Coach Gajewski, and I think they can get the job done this weekend.
Yeah, I do too. Like you said, I don't know about a sweep, but I think they can win 2 out of 3. A sweep would be awesome, and I'm not saying it's out of the possibility, but I see 2 out of 3 like you.
Well, get out to Cowgirl Stadium. I believe it's Saturday night matchup on ESPN too.
Yeah.
So if you're not in Stillwater, be sure to watch that. Cowboy baseball, I guess you could get in your car and drive down to Fort Worth, but there's probably more optimal ways to watch that. But there's a lot going on this weekend. I know you're really excited about Week 8 of the Alliance of American Football.
Oh, you know it, Reed. You know it.
You're going to be devastated when they fold. Absolutely devastated.
Tears. Just real tears.
What did you think of Manu Ginobili getting his jersey retired? Did you watch any of that ceremony?
I did. Did you see Tim Duncan's little speech he gave?
What is Tim Duncan doing, by the way? The hair.
I love it.
He's kickboxing.
Yeah.
It's like he's a completely different person now that he's retired.
I love Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan can do no wrong. But yeah, I thought it was good. You know, Pop said there's no championships without Manu. I don't know if that's the case, but he was a big part in all those championships. Always made a sacrifice for the team. Came off the bench. Everyone says Lou Will's the ultimate sixth man or the best sixth man of all time. It's Manu Ginobili. Manu Ginobili is the best sixth man in the history of the NBA. It should be the Manu Ginobili Sixth Man of the Year award, but that's not something we need to talk about today. I thought it was great. I thought it was well deserved. You know, Tony Parker and Tim Duncan were there. Pop was obviously there, so I thought it was a good ceremony. Too bad he didn't get to like hit a bat out of the air or something like that.
Do you think it's too soon when these guys just retired? Do you think they should wait 5 or 6 years? Like
No.
I almost thought it was too soon for Chris Bosh.
Maybe for Chris Bosh, but guys like Manu, who
It
were
should be
part of
done
this
instantly.
20-year run of just excellence and dominance, I think as soon as possible.
Even then, I think you got to wait 5 or 6 years and come back so you can kind of enjoy the greatness because you still feel like you're in that run. Really quickly, Nebraska is in talks to hire Fred Hoiberg.
That's a bad idea.
115 and 56 at Iowa State, 115 and 155 for the Bulls. So he's had success in college basketball, not the NBA.
Yeah.
So make sure you go on and cheer the Cowgirls out at Cowgirl Stadium. Big series versus Texas this weekend. And make sure to watch the Cowboys whatever way you can and watch a ton of college basketball. We will be back on Monday. Thank you so much for watching One on One. We'll see you then.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.